sauce with that? Yeah, green sauce. Oh, here's 100 piles of it. Why?
Oh, hello there, and welcome to day 21 of 100 Days of Making Comics with me, Gazbot. Yeah, so what's been going on today? I got a halfway decent night's sleep last night, so I don't feel like super horrible tired like I did the last time we spoke, but my energy level will be kind of low because I'm outside on my little mini porch deck thing at the apartment here. I don't know why. It's nighttime. I wanted to try this outdoor light to see if it worked better. It's a little bit more overhead. We don't really have normal overhead lighting in most of my house for some reason. It's like a series of lamps in different areas or fan lights that are like super, super bright. I talk a lot about lighting on these videos and don't get any better at it. I just talk about it a lot. Anyway, today I did a little over 3 hours. 3 hours at least, maybe a bit over. On the comic today. The first thing I did was went over issues 2 and 3, the script for revisions, and that took me about a half hour each. And like with the previous 2 issues, not a ton of revision, barely any. I've gone through all 4 issues now, reread them after having written them, and they're sort of done in the sense that there were no major plot changes I wanted to make, or no major character changes. All the different, like I barely even changed what I would have to draw, more like dialogue and stuff like that, or maybe putting one panel from one page to another, but not really changing much. So I definitely need to get it a second opinion, because either I'm a way better writer than I thought I was, or I'm way less good at being critical of my writing than I thought I was. So that was the first hour or so. The next hour was spent, the next 2 hours were spent on the monster character, the title character, the Horror, who I've drawn many, many times, but is always different. In the beginning, he was radically different every time I drew him, and he's been kind of zeroing in, like I said last time with that head sketch, where it's sort of a consistent difference, but it's almost like a different artist is drawing him every time, or, you know, so I want it to be that every time I draw him, he's the same character, he has the same pieces, he has the same proportions, or whatever, before I start doing the book. So what I did was I collected all the versions of him I've done up to this point, including rough sketches and whatever, and put them all into one Photoshop document, which I'll put an image of right here. And so you can see some are more finished than others, some have way different colors, some are, you know, just all over the place. Then I also went and collected a bunch of different reference, and all of those images I just showed you, I drew without looking at any reference. I was just out of my head. But when I thought about the things, I thought of the characters and the types of monsters I thought about that were similar to what I wanted to do, I went ahead and put a bunch of reference together, a lot of Man-Thing, which is sort of like Marvel's Swamp Thing, and an alien from Ultra 7, and a couple other things. Anyway, I'll put that up right now. So. And, you know, I don't want it to look directly like any of those, but just to kind of have a little bit of inspiration. So then what I did, that took a little longer than you'd think. That took probably 45 minutes or so just to get all that together and put together. And then on top of each of them, I put a little box of white and did gesture sketches, very small. Like if the paper was this big in real life, I was drawing about that big, to kind of just keep to the main form and proportion without getting too bogged down in the specific details. And I did I did 3 on top of my reference / inspiration sheet, and I did, I think, 5 or 6 based on my own design sheet. And I put them all together on a piece of paper, well, a piece of digital paper, and I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about right now. So that took me, you know, an hour-ish or more to finish that up, so that was the end of the 3 hours. I actually took one of them and started cleaning them up with more detail, but I'm not going to put that up because it was not really finished. What's interesting is a lot of the ones based on my own drawings, I was focusing heavily on where certain bones go and the structure of whatever. All the ones I enjoyed the most, like if you saw the check marks near the top 2, actually I'll put it up again in a second, but on the top there were 2, and they were my 2 favorites. They have the least amount of detail. They were just kind of the gesture of the pose, kind of like, oh, you know, kind of a lumbering, you know. which is great for getting a feel for the character, but it still doesn't help me what I'm going to draw like in a close-up. What would that look like, you know? But I'll put that drawing up again real quick right now, and just look at the two on the top of the check marks, and you'll see what I mean, the difference between kind of how they have good poses and good character, but there's no detail, versus the ones on the bottom. So take another look. Yeah, so anyway, that was my work day today. I also did some client work. If I didn't do the client work, I probably would have done a lot more work on the horror, because I was digging doing the horror designs, and I probably would have kept going with that, but it's almost midnight now, so I want to be done. Tomorrow I will probably pick up where I left off and work on more horror designs. I'm not going to start thumbnails until I got the script locked down, which again, theoretically it is locked down, but I don't feel comfortable until somebody else takes a look at it. So hopefully I can get somebody to do that tonight/tomorrow, so that by later in the week I'll be ready to start doing thumbnails. And in the meantime, I'll work on the horror, and if I get that nailed down, then I'll work on some other background characters and props and things like that that aren't as urgent, but will need to be done eventually. So yeah, that's my update for today. Not as exciting as yesterday, but it is day 21, and that means
There are 79 days left.